Well, I am here on the Andrew Brunet Show, and I am so excited to have the legendary songwriter Lanny Wolfe with me. Lanny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Andrew. Thank you very much. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you as well. So let's start off. Where did the gospel ministry really start for you?
Actually, I did not know for a long time that I was actually supposed to go this journey, this direction. I was in high school a little bit good at math, a little bit good at art. I got a scholarship to Ohio State, started out in architectural engineering. And after I switched to business education, got a first degree in business education, minor in math, and then I started working on a master's degree with a minor in finance, major in education administration. So it was after all of that that God really called me and said, by the way, this is not really what I want you to do. And so I went a different direction, went to California and taught in a Bible college there. And I felt really inadequate because even though I played piano and I directed choir, I didn't really feel like I knew what I should know if I were going to be teaching in a Bible college. So I went to, while I'm teaching there the first year, I go to San Joaquin Delta College. I start my music degree. I left there in 1965 and went to a Bible college in St. Louis, Missouri. I was there for, let me see, 1968 to 74. And all the time I'm there, I'm working on a master's degree in music. So I'd gotten my music Bachelor of Arts degree from San Jose State University. All that to say, it took me a long time to figure out that God really wanted me to like train young people and give my full-time energies to the gospel music arena and songwriting. I wrote my first song at 15, but I didn't think of myself as a songwriter. I wrote songs like Only Jesus Can Satisfy Your Soul when I was 18. But again, I was so immersed in my track of architectural engineering that I didn't really take the songwriting seriously. So it took me a long time to figure out how God wanted me to actually focus all my energies. Finally got there.
So you've written an incredible song, and I don't know if people know the incredible just feeling that you get when you hear this song. And I'm talking about surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Tell us the story behind this song.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Our trio have been invited to sing at a church dedication, Columbia, Mississippi, in 1976. So as I was sitting there waiting for them to call on the trio, God just drops this tune in my head with the lyrics. And I didn't have time. I didn't know when they were going to call on the trio. Didn't have time to go to some room to work it out. It actually had a progression in there I heard in my head that I wasn't used to. So anyway, they called on the trio. I, I got up and I said, God just gave me a chorus. And so I taught it to the trio, taught it to the musicians, taught it to the congregation. I taught it to everybody right on the spot. And so that was 1976. Then I went away from that church dedication, wrote verses. And now that song has been around the world. It's unbelievable the impact that it's had in the church music marketplace. And what's amazing to me is how God does this. Uh, 2019, so just several years back, I was asked to sing at a funeral. And the night before the funeral, I thought I should sing Surely the Presence and use the track. I wasn't sure what musicians would be at the church. It was actually a large church. And so I didn't really feel the second verse, which we'd sung for just all these years. I didn't feel that was right for what I wanted to have happen in the funeral service. So the Lord gave me a new verse, which I'll call verse 3, just 3 years ago. And it's perfect for a homegoing service. And though some go before us, we'll all meet again when heaven's gates swing wide open and all God's children enter in. There will be no more parting, no more sickness, pain, or woe. But till then, God sends his presence to comfort hearts below. And surely the presence. So So what's amazing to me is God waited, okay, 1976 to 2019. God waited all of those years to add another verse to this song that he originally gave me in 1976. So, with God, he's always surprising us, always showing up when we're not expecting him.
One of my favorite songs that I didn't mention in the points, but I do want to bring up is I Get the Thrill When I Get Together with God's Wonderful People. How
I
did that
love
song?
the thrill that I feel when I get together with God's wonderful people. I love the song too. I was at a general conference. I believe it was in Salt Lake City. Wasn't performing that night. The trio was there. We were just sitting in the audience, and I thought to myself, what a wonderful feeling just to be a part of this. There were like thousands of people there in that auditorium. And I thought just to be a part of it. And that's when it came. I love the thrill that I feel when I get together with God's wonderful people. Yes. Glad you like that.
And there is a thrill when we gather together in God's
It
house
is.
in one mind and
It
in
is.
one accord. I was just telling somebody the other day, I believe COVID has stopped a lot of people from gathering in the church house, but what they don't believe is if they would turn off that news on that TV, that negativity, and come to the church where all the positivity is,
Yes. Yes.
we wouldn't have to worry about this.
Yeah. And COVID, of course, was a very disastrous thing that hit us all over the world. It did its work. But one of the most divisive things that came out of COVID is the fact that what? So many churches were locked down or the doors were locked. And so people got comfortable sitting at home watching a church service in their pajamas and eating potato chips. So when the doors open back up, if they're not careful, they have that mindset, well, I'll just keep doing what I was doing. But there's something that happens when we get together, not when we watch together, when we get together. You need to know that you're, again, a part of that body, and you get strength from them, they get strength from you. Very important.
And that just leads right up to the next song that we're going to talk about. I keep falling in love with him. If you love him, you'll be in his house.
You will. So, this is an interesting story of how God gave this song to me. So, we had a Silver Eagle bus. That's the good news. The bad news is it broke down many more times than what we wanted. So anyway, we pulled into a Stuckey's. A lot of people don't know about Stuckey's, but a few years back, Stuckey's was very on the map, and it still is in some places. So you would go fill up and get pecans. Okay, so got the gas in the bus, and I'm on my way to the counter to check out. So I passed this wire rack, and in the wire rack were these wood cards, and each wood card had a different saying. So I looked down, and this is, again, what I call moment of truth. I looked down, and there was the plaque that said, "Funny how I keep falling in love with you over and over again." Well, wait, excuse me. I grabbed the wooden plaque out of the wire rack, went to the counter, paid for the gas, paid $1 for the wooden plaque, went out of the store and started writing, I keep falling in love with him over and over and over and over. Now, what happens is that plaque was basically geared to a horizontal relationship. You know, somebody loves somebody, but as soon as I saw it, the relationship became vertical and spiritual, speaking to God. So I got my $1 back on that many, many, many times over. And you know what's amazing, Andrew? So I've written over 700 songs, 14 musicals. They all find different places. Some find strongholds in the marketplace for gospel music. Some find a stronghold in church music. Surely the Presence has a stronghold in the church music marketplace. But as far as just the song that is probably most well known all over the world is that one right there. I was on a cruise several different times. We'd be in the Caribbean. I remember stopping at a fish market, and so just for fun, here's the lady who is in charge of the shop. I said, "Oh, have you ever heard of I Keep Falling in Love with?" She started singing it. I stopped singing and she finished it. And I've done that so many times, and never one time have I started it that somebody didn't just finish it all the way out. So, I mean, that has found its way all the way around the world.
And another incredible one that can be heard by Sandy Patty and Larnell Harris is More Than Wonderful. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can see behind me, there's a couple Dove Awards and there's some Grammy nominations back there. So this is a very special song. And of course, it has its niche in the gospel music marketplace. Okay. So we had written a Christmas musical. I don't know was born. It was very popular in the church community. So because of its success, the Benson Company said, "Okay, let's do another musical." I I came to them with enough songs that were second coming to write two second coming musicals. Well, I got there and very disappointedly heard them say, "Well, no, the churches, they won't buy this. They're not ready to like." And basically, from a publishing standpoint, they felt they couldn't sell a musical and choral books that talked about the second coming of Christ. So I was very disappointed. Um, so the president of the company said, "Lanny, why don't you write a song about Isaiah 9:6 and come back? We'll do a Christmas musical." Well, I was disappointed, but I went home. I wrote a song. Our trio started singing it. So I came back to the committee, the powers that be, the gods of the gospel music marketplace, my publisher. And so I brought it back, and the same gentleman, the president of the company who assigned it, said, "Lanny, no, I don't think we should put it in the musical. And secondly, you can write a better song." Well, so again, I begged, bartered, pleaded, and everything. "No, please, let's put this in the musical." So uh, he finally consented. "Okay, we'll put it in the musical." Don Marsh was the arranger, and so the first arrangement of this that Don Marsh did, Bob McKenzie, who was the president, threw it away. He said, "Start over." So I had this idea, let's do a duet. And I paired up in my mind Sandy Patty, Larnell Harris. And so Don went back to the drawing board and did an arrangement with a duet and choir, brought it back, and we finally got a green light. Okay, we'll do it. We'll put it in the musical. So Larnell Harris comes in the studio, not at the same time Sandy Patty. They're not ever there together. So the Benson Company put a female voice, what they call a dummy voice, so that Larnell would know how to work around it. So he put his on. He went away. Sandy flew in. She heard what Larnell did, and then she did all of her stuff around Larnell, he set the stage for it. So then when the Benson Company started mixing it down, whoa, it's like the stars aligned, the heavens opened. And so what they did is they were so excited about it. Some people would call it magic. It's not magic, it's anointing. God anointed the song in my pen. God anointed Sandy Patty when she sang it. God anointed Larnell Harris. So now the Benson Company is sending out 45s to radio stations. Sandy and Larnell went to the Gaither Thanksgiving event that he has. They got a standing ovation. So that was Thanksgiving. So here we are, 1984. And okay, think about this. As of December 1983, this song had not even been put in sheet music. It was only in a musical, a Christmas musical. So just the mainstream America didn't have sheet music. They hadn't heard it. Choir directors had heard it and done it in Christmas performances. So in February of 1984, I was having a choir practice, Jackson, Mississippi, and somebody said, "Oh, did you know that Sandy and Larnell just got a Dove Award for their duet?" Well, I didn't even know it was up. I didn't even know they got it. So, of course, got all excited. So that was February. April of 1984, this song got Song of the Year. Thank you, Bob McKenzie. And Sandy got female vocalist of the year. Larnell got male vocalist of the year. I got songwriter of the year. I was it was just overload. Now, so Sandy and Larnell were performing it in Dallas for TBN later. So at the end of the performance, they called all us up on the platform. Here's Sandy, here's Larnell, here's Bob McKenzie by my side, and here I am. So Bob leans over into my ear and he says, "Who said it couldn't fly?" Well, I wanted to say, "You said it couldn't fly." So here's the man that told me. He said, "No, Lanny, you can write a better song." Now, actually, at the time, so when he got a Dove Award, it felt strange that he would say, "Oh, you can write a better song." But actually, to Bob's credit, in 2018, I really wrote a better song. A lot of people have not heard it. It's called Glorious Church. It was done on a Three Angel Broadcasting Network project. And wow, I mean, the subject matter is in Revelation, and it's built around "Come out of her, my people." So I had to do a lot of research in Revelation. Oh, I went through revision after revision after revision. But anyway, we recorded it, and I stepped back from the forest and listened to it from a songwriter standpoint. It's the best song that I've ever written. It won't get a Dove Award because of the subject matter. It's too heavy. So anyway, thank you, Bob, for telling me that I could write a better song, because years later I did. More Than Wonderful is just, Andrew, every time I hear Sandy and Larnell sing that when they were at a Gaither event in Washington, D.C., every time I hear that, it's like I'm hearing it for the first time. And it's almost like I had nothing to do with it. It's almost like I didn't write it. I sit there and I hear them singing when they go into that minor third modulation, and then like heaven breaks loose, and then they end it, and then the crowd is on their feet. Every time I hear it, it lifts my spirit out of this world where I find myself. It's just such an amazing, such an anointed song. And I feel so humble that God would pass it through my writing pen. And so thankful to Bob McKenzie that he finally gave in and said, "Okay, we'll put it in the musical." Because if he had not put that in the musical, what? The world would never have heard it. Sandy and Patty and Larnell Harris would have never gotten a Grammy. I would have never gotten a Songwriter of the Year. No, in other words, everybody had to do their part and fit in the puzzle. So thank you, Bob McKenzie, for assigning the song. And he almost became the Herod to abort the child. But thank you for signing it, and thank you for letting us put it in the musical. So to God be the glory.
Another one of my favorites that you've written is called "In Everything Give Thanks." How did that song come about?
Amazingly, and a lot of songwriters will go into their cubicles and they know that somebody's going to do a new recording. And so they get together. There's a lot of co-writing going on. And so they sit there and they try to reach out for anointing and inspiration. So many of my songs have been written out of disappointment, sorrow, hurt. And I've always been amazed at how, it's the no pain, no gain kind of phenomena. So for most of my life, I've dealt with a physical condition called cellulitis. I don't totally understand it. It's some kind of infection of the nerves under the outer layer of the skin. And so cellulitis would just attacks me in my ankles. My ankles get really heated, real hot. They get red. And if I don't get to the hospital and get on antibiotics immediately, and I could die from this. And so and it would always come at times that, no, not now. I was in a concert and no, and then I was at another concert with my 50 voice chorale in Cincinnati, and when it hits, I know it's happening. It's like, Lord, get me through this service. And so for this particular song, I was in a Houston hospital. and I had been attacked by cellulitis again. When this happens, I'm usually in the hospital for about a week at a time. And so here I am feeling sorry for myself until I see the patient who is in my room and they're wheeling him out. And as they're wheeling him out, and as I'm feeling sorry for myself, I noticed the gentleman didn't have feet. Oh, it just stabbed me because I thought, wow, in a couple days, I'm going to be out of here and I have feet. And even though I've had cellulitis, they've got it under control and I will walk. And so it was at that moment in that Houston hospital room that God gave me this song, In Everything, Give Him Thanks, Give Him Thanks. In everything, give Him thanks. In the good times, praise His name. In the bad times, do the same. In everything, give the King of Kings all the praise. So, I mean, yes, it's like, this is life. Life is filled with cares of life. How do you understand what a good time is if there are not bad times? And so God has always allowed bad times, bad moments, disappointments in my life to so many times inspire a song.
Wow. So another one that we wanted to mention tonight is that there's something in the air. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Oh, wow. There is something in there. We're not talking about pollution now, folks. We're not talking about gas emissions. Okay. This was before we started worrying about any of that. So I spent 6 years when I was in St. Louis at Gateway College of Evangelism. So I'm teaching full time, but I'm going to Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, which was about 20 miles away. So I went there every Monday night for 6 years. Oh my word. You talk about, oh, it was so, I hate to use the word boring. It was so tedious. I would go and sit in a class for 3 hours. So on this particular night, I had gotten out of the class and I had to walk through the student union to get to my car. So I'm walking through the student union and I'm hearing this voice. I thought, uh, I hear there's something in the air. And I thought, that's Karen Carpenter. That's Karen Carpenter. Whoa. And so I got in my car and it was in my mind. I just started spinning it. There's something in the air. I can feel it everywhere. I just started spinning out a chorus. And so when I got back to the house, I asked family and I asked then students in the car, I said, have you ever heard Karen Carpenter sing this song, There's Something in the Air? And they said, well, no, but I've heard her sing Rainy Days and Mondays always get me down. Da 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 da. Wow. There's God again showing up when I don't expect him. So, you know that scripture says we're in the world, but not of the world.
That's
So
right.
I was in the student union and Karen Carpenter was singing Rainy Days and Mondays always get, but I never heard that. I heard there's something in the air. So so I wrote the song. That was probably about 1972. And so that was actually the title song of our very first album that we did with Larry Goss that went to Benson, went to the Benson Company. And so Bob McKenzie, there's Bob McKenzie again. He said, okay, we'll take it and I'll take on 6 songs. Included in that 6 songs was Only Jesus Can Satisfy Your Soul. And it's so funny, Andrew. Bob McKenzie was this kind of person. He was a great producer. He produced probably our first 6 projects. He always wanted to feel like he did his magic. And so he wanted to take this project that we'd done with Larry Goss. It was all done. It was all mixed down. And so he said, okay, yeah, we'll take it, but I'm going to remix it. So Bob McKenzie started to quote, remix it, and he kept working at and he finally just gave up. He said, okay, no, we'll just let it go as is. Thank you, Bob McKenzie, one more time.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. So tell folks how they can find out more about Lanny Wolfe how they can buy the music and find out more information about your ministry.
Yes, thank you, Andrew. We have a website called lannywolfe.com, LANNYWOLFE.com. And you can find all of our products on that website. We have a website called lannywolftrio.com. And I'm so excited about what's happening because we've just signed an agreement with Day Win Productions, which is so exciting because now we have 8 Lanny Wolfe Trio projects that are on all the digital platforms: Pandora, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Amazon. That's exciting. So we have 8 projects that are, I think actually they're either already on these platforms or they're doing pre-sale. So you can go there and pull up songs from 8 projects, and we'll be adding more projects later. But you can go to lannywolfe.com, Facebook, Lanny Wolfe on Facebook. And so when we're in a concert or something, we post there. We do a lot of recording for Three Angel Broadcasting Network, and you can find us there on 3abn.org. We're doing a new taping this coming May, second week. So all of the projects, all of the Lanny Wolfe Trio projects, studio, all the Lanny Wolfe Trio projects, live albums, all of the musicals, every single song is now on YouTube. So if you have a song, or if you don't even know what song you want to find, just go to YouTube and put in Lanny Wolfe or Lanny Wolfe Trio. Whoa. And it's all there. So we're all over that. And, you know, we're anxious for a lot of folks, a lot of the millennials. So okay, let's go back to 1984, where More Than Wonderful got Song of the Year. So we have folks that were born in 94 or 2000. They've never even heard of Sandy Patty. I said, have you heard of More Than Wonderful? No. So we're excited that all of these digital, and of course, this group of people, they're not buying CDs. They're on their phone, in their car, because you can't even get a vehicle with a CD player anymore. Hello. So all the folks that are on Spotify and Pandora, now they can find Lanny Wolfe Trio on all those digital platforms. So exciting. Wow. So excited about that.
Well, thank you so much, Lanny Wolfe, for doing the interview. I've had a great time with you, and I look forward to doing it again sometime.
Please, let's do. There's 700 songs. We've covered about 6. So we've got about 694 to cover. So a few more interviews.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrew.
Bye-bye.
Bye.